Hello everyone, my name is Vincent Noël and I'm a researcher at Institut Curie in Paris. And today I'm going to give you a brief introduction to intracellular models for Physicell. So first of all, I'm going to talk to you about modeling intracellular signaling and why we think it's important to include this inside Physicell. Then I'm going to talk to you about the first implementation of intracellular signaling inside Physicell, which was PhysiBus, which was made by adding MABOS Boolean simulator inside Physicell. Then I'm going to talk to you about PhysiBus 2.0, which is the new version of PhysiBus, which is now included inside Physicell. And finally, I'm going to talk to you about the intracellular interface, which is basically the glue between Physicell and PhysiBus, and which can be also used to add new framework of intracellular signaling. So to start with, we start with a problem, which is that Physicell has a very simple view of intracellular signaling. The existing models which are inside a cell in Physicell would be, for example, cell cycle. Here we have a cell cycle with 5 different phases, and we can see that we have different transition rates between these phases. And we also have apoptosis and necrosis model, where we have, again, a kinetic rate to activate apoptosis or necrosis. And all of this is already nice and useful, but we need to go a lot deeper inside all the regulation of the intracellular behavior. Because there is a lot of complexity and most importantly of regulation which is happening inside the cell at the intracellular level. To be able to regulate events such as behavior such as apoptosis or cell proliferation, a cell can incorporate multiple signals such as death factors, for example TNF, or survival factors or growth factors, or cytokines and chemokines, which are used a lot in the communication between cells. And once these signals enter the cell, they will take part in a very complex signaling network with feedbacks, with crosstalks between different signaling pathways. And this will be how the cell will take decisions, such as does it need to undergo apoptosis or does it need to activate cell proliferation. Fortunately for us, what Physicell provides are signals and behaviors. So we have one part of a problem solved. For example, the presence of TNF, a death factor outside the cell, can be sensed by the cell and will be present in the dictionary of signals. And also, we have a dictionary of behaviors, which will allow us to activate apoptosis or activate cell proliferation. So the idea is that existing intracellular models could be interfaced with Physicell to compute behaviors from signals. And once we have this coupling made, we are able to simulate drug treatments and their effects at the larger scale, at the scale of the cell population. We can also simulate mutants, for example, the different clones which belong to a tumor, and the interplay between these clones and the equilibrium between a population of one and the other. And we can also personalize our model, taking patients or cell line data, and then tweak our intracellular model to be able to make them patient-specific models. And overall, allowing us to have this interface between Physicell and the intracellular signaling will allow us to simplify the description of such multi-scale model. One important aspect also is that there is a lot of existing models. Most of the modeling community is working on intracellular model. So we have a very wide variety of models, from small models of control of cell cycle, for example, here in NIST on the left, but very accurate because they are using ordinary differential equations, or very large model. For example, here the model by Montaigu et al., which describe all the pathways which are involved in prostate cancer and also in healthy prostate. So to be able to model this intracellular signaling, we have different types of framework. The first one, which is the most used, is the quantitative one, which use ordinary differential equations. So here values can be any quantity. We also have a notion of continuous time, meaning that for every time point we will have a value of this, we can compute a value of all the quantities in our system. But the bad side of quantitative signaling is that it's a lot more difficult to write and even more to parameterize. And also the simulation of large models written with ordinary differential equations can be very heavy to simulate computationally. On the opposite side of modeling framework, we have qualitative framework, which are mainly Boolean formalism. Here, values are only true or false, or for example, absent or present. And we only have, at least in pure Boolean, just sequence of events. So just this happened and then this, but no notion of time between the two events. But on the flip side, they are really easy to write. It's Boolean formulas, and it's kind of close to natural language, at least closer than ODEs. And also we can simulate large models, like hundreds, even thousands of nodes are possible to simulate. So our goals in developing this intracellular signaling interface is to simplify the inclusion of existing signaling models, also to allow for multiple framework to be able to simulate either a model which is Boolean or a model which are ODEs, and integrate all of this mechanism together with the signal and behaviors provided by Physicell to make everything automatic together. So the first, or at least one of the first implementation of signaling inside Physicell is PhysiBoss, so which was the inclusion of MABOS simulator inside Physicell. So this was done in 2019 by Gaëlle Le Thor, when she published an article called PhysiBoss, a multi-scale agent-based modeling framework integrating Physicell dimension and cell signaling. So the idea of PhysiBoss is that every cell, every agent inside our simulation will have a Boolean model inside. And according to the state of the environment, the presence of cells nearby, the possible attachments, or the presence of substrate in the environment, will update his Boolean model to compute the new behavior to adopt according to its signaling pathways. For example, should a cell undergo apoptosis or survive? So how does it work more in the detail? We will have new DT inside Physicell, which will be set for every intracellular model. And at this intracellular DT frequency, cells will look at their microenvironment, at their surrounding. And if, for example, a substrate is above a threshold, then activate an input node of MABOS, an initial value. Then we'll perform a MABOS simulation. And looking at the result of this MABOS simulation, we'll see that some output nodes are active or inactive. And if, for example, here the matrix modification node is active, it means that this cell needs to start degrading the substrate which is nearby. And also what is important to understand is that here, each cell will run one single stochastic simulation. And what that means also is that different cells, even if they have the exact same input nodes configuration, can have different outcomes, can have different phenotypes. So we are using to simulate our Boolean models MABOS, which was developed by Gauthier Stoll and Laurence Calzone here at Curie. And MABOS stands for Markovian Boolean Stochastic Simulator. So as the name says, it's Boolean and it performs stochastic simulation. But one very important aspect of MABOS is that it adds also a notion of physical time to Boolean modeling. To do this, what MABOS do is simulate continuous time Markov process, which are applied on a Boolean network state space. And to do this, MABOS needs to add for every node in the Boolean network a rate of activation and a rate of inactivation of this node. with this notion of kinetic rate, we are able to represent different timescales inside our model. This also gives us a notion of time inside our Boolean simulation that we can then couple with Physicel's time. So when Gaëlle developed PhysiBus, she studied different models, including one of cellular fates, where we have a tumor which is treated or not with TNF, which is the tumor necrosis factor, which is a death factor. And so Gaëlle studied different kind of dosage and different timings of treatments of TNF and their possible effect on the size of a tumor. Gaëlle also simulated heterogeneous population with PhysiBus, where, for example, half of a tumor will be composed of a clone with a very specific mutation, which is known to resist TNF treatment. And so she studied how would then the TNF treatment work on this population, which are heterogeneous population. And now I will going to present you PhysiBus 2.0, which is the new version of PhysiBus. So first, little bit of history again. So PhysiBus started as a fork of Physicell 1.1, now nearly 5 years ago. And so when Gaëlle developed PhysiBus, both branches of a fork starting to diverge. Physicell was evolving on its sides, and PhysiBus was evolving independently. And a year and a half after starting this development, we started to have our first meeting together with the Barcelona Supercomputing Center and the Indiana University to see how we could merge PhysiBus into Physicell. And a lot of work after, and more than 2 years later, PhysiBus 2.0 was finally merged inside Physicell 1.9 as the first add-on of Physicell. So what did we do exactly? We isolated part of the code. So we have Physicell on one part, which will provide an interface for intracellular models. Then we have our add-on, PhysiBus, which will use this intracellular interface to be able to update the cell. And only PhysiBus, this add-on, will have communication with MABOS. The idea here is that with this simple isolation between these three modules, we can have the three modules evolving independently without breaking everything. And now, after 1 year after this release, we have now PhysiBus 2.2, which will be released in the next weeks, where we will add stochastic time step and automatic mapping, both things that I will explain today and in next session. So first, how does PhysiBus concretely works now? So now PhysiBus is is part of Physicell, so is using the same Physicell XML definition files. So we added one intracellular tag inside our phenotype, where you have a type which is here a MABOS intracellular model. Then we need to define some values, which are, for example, the model file that we'll be using. In the case of MABOS, it's a BND and a CFG file. We will also have some settings to describe more our intracellular model. We will have the intracellular DT that I told to you about, the time step at which the intracellular model will be updated. We'll also have other options such as time stochasticity and scaling. We can also modify initial values or parameter value, and this will be useful, for example, if we want to personalize our models. And finally, we also have a notion of mapping, which allows us to automatically link Physicell with our Boolean network. So how does it work more concretely? So Physicell provides some signals which can be exploited by our intracellular network. So here, for example, we want to describe an input which says that oxygen will inhibit the MABOS node A. So here we define an input. We associate the Physicell name oxygen with the intracellular name A for the node A. And then we define in the settings that this input is an inhibition. So oxygen will inhibit the node A. Then we define two thresholds, one for activation, one for inactivation. And so what this means is that the node A will be inactive when oxygen is above 10, because oxygen inhibits A. And the node A will be active when oxygen is below 10. And we added the possibility to have two different thresholds for this to be able to represent hysteresis. We also have, as part of our mappings, the opposite side, which are the output nodes, which means that we will link a MABOS node to a physicell behavior. So here, for example, we want to say that the node C will activate apoptosis. So we will write a new input, a new output, which will link apoptosis to our node C, our intracellular node C. And then we'll say that it's an activation. Then we define two values, one for when the node C is active, which will be 5, and one for when the node C is inactive, which will be 0. And we also add a notion of smoothing, meaning that when C will become active, it won't jump directly from 0 to 5. It will take 5 time steps to be able to gradually reach 5. We also developed some visualization for PhysiBus, which are part, for example, of the PhysiCell Python notebook, Jupyter notebook. So here, in the main view of a simulation of Jupyter notebooks, we have our cells that we can now color by PhysiBus value. We can just choose a node inside our Boolean model, and this will show us for which cell the node is active in green, and for which cells the node is inactive in red. We can also look at the distribution of a population. Here we see a population which is naive in blue, will have some cell growth which will get activated, and then activate other phenotypes. So we are able to monitor the creation of the appearance of new phenotypes, the disappearance of other phenotypes, and the total population growth. And we'll be able to track all the possible states inside our Boolean model. We also added support for PhysiBus inside the PhysiCell model builder. So here in the intracellular tab, you can just select Boolean in the type of intracellular model, and then you will be able to input all the values which are that compose the XML setting that I just showed you before. But still be careful and remember that it is still experimental, and please report bugs if you find some. And finally, I want to talk to you about the intracellular interface, so which is again the glue between PhysiCell and PhysiBus, which is used to simulate intracellular behavior and to gather inputs from signals of PhysiCell and update phenotypic behaviors of PhysiCell. So the way we implemented this intracellular is what we call in C++ a pure abstract class, or in other format is called an interface. And the idea is that it can be implemented in multiple ways. We have one first implementation, which was the MABOS intracellular, which is the implementation of PhysiBus for the simulation of Boolean networks. We also have Roadrunner interface, which will simulate intracellular models described as ordinary differential equations. And this is an implementation which was done by Furkan and Randy, and Furkan will describe it to you in the next sessions. And finally, we have the DFBA intracellular, which will perform flux balance analysis on metabolic pathway, and this is led by Miguel. And of course, other intracellular frameworks are welcome. If you have new ideas for new type of description for intracellular mechanism, we can easily incorporate them now into PhysiCell. How would we do? The idea is that this is the description of the interface inside PhysiCell, and you have a list of virtual functions. All these virtual functions needs to be implemented in your specific implementation of your simulation framework. So for example, you will have the initialize intracellular from PugXML, which will be the function which will be called when Physicell will load the XML definition. So it's at that time that you will construct your data structure and you will get everything ready for the simulation. Then there will be a function start, which will be called when cells are initialized, which will be the final initialization of your intracellular model. Then you have a function which is called need update, which will check if it's time to update your model. Then you have the most important function, which is the update function, which will update the model with a time step defined in the XML. And so this will look at the signals of Physicell, modify the inputs or the initial values of your intracellular model, perform the simulation, and then modify the behaviors of Physicell. You have also other functions which are available, for example, set parameter value, which will allow you to change parameters inside your model, or also display, which would be the function called when at the beginning of a simulation, you have the description of all your cell lines. And also important functions such as clone to copy your intracellular model, or the destructure to clean the memory. And so as perspective, both for PhysiBus and for intracellular, for PhysiBus, what we want now is to implement more complex mapping rules, to be able to have more expressivity in what we can do with the mapping. We also want to improve PhysiBus support in the graphical interface of Physicell, and specifically add more visualization to be able to get access and to visualize what is happening inside of intracellular model during the simulation. And more generally, what we want to do now for the intracellular interface is to provide a better standardization of intracellular data outputs. And with this new standardization, we'll be able to improve the visualization of our intracellular model. And also one limitation that we still have now is that we only can have one intracellular model per cell, and we want to be able to add more than one, and possibly using different frameworks. For example, having one intracellular model with ODEs and one with Boolean models inside the same cell. With this, I would like to acknowledge all the people who help with this work. So first of all, Gauthier and Laurence for developing MaBus and helping with the development of PhysiBus. Marco, which is our PhD student, which is helping in developing PhysiBus and is actively developing PhysiBus models. Arnaud and Miguel, who participated in the efforts of building PhysiBus 2.0. Randy and Paul, obviously, for helping us and allowing us to create this new interface for intracellular model inside Physicell. And most importantly, Gael, for starting all of these efforts with PhysiBus. And with this, I would like also to thank our founding, so all the founding for Physicell and for PhysiBus. And I will see you in session 11, where we'll go into a lot more details about MaBus and PhysiBus. And I will show you step by step how to build a model of TNF treatment with the new version of PhysiBus. So see you at next session.